went to Italy with Red Bull 2 weeks ago, and then over to Scotland with Sky. Like, not been invited on a kind of PR trip like that in whatever 4 years, and then you get two in the space of like 2 weeks. What we're building up to is to just kind of jump off of a 10-meter platform, the maddest you'll ever see in your life. 27 meters, 5 flips. Seeing it on TV is one thing, seeing it in person, you're like, these lads are outrageously like talented. Like going to the pub with a guest, pulling a pint, having a chat, that's kind of like my bread and butter. Like going to matches, chatting to people outside of stadiums, and living in a fucking dumpster in 3 months, but it also means you could be on top of the world in 3 months.
This podcast is sponsored by Smart Mortgages.
Smart Mortgages are dedicated to making your mortgage process simple with fast decisions, honest advice and solutions that fit your life.
Click the link in the description and take 60 seconds to complete their mortgage readiness quiz. They'll send you a personalised report with advice and guidance that will bring you home.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Here's Your Crack podcast. We're here with Darragh Curran. It was about 2 years ago we were just chatting there, we last had you on. You were probably best known back then as the Guinness Guru, but like things have sort of changed a bit. So if you want to probably catch people up with like what's happened since you were last on, I know it's a long time, so what's just quickly.
That was take 2 and that was really good.
Professional.
Very professional, yeah, jeez, no messing. No bloopers. Well, yeah, you said best known as, you're like back then best known as Guinness Guru. I'll probably be always best known as Guinness Guru.
Yeah.
Like if someone was to see me in the street, even if I'd know in 10 years time, they'd be like, that's the Guinness fella. So, but like I always say, like there's much worse things to be known for than Guinness or whatever. So yeah, it was I went back to check how long it had been, and I was thinking that's probably a year, 18 months, 2.5 years.
Flip me.
November 2021. We're recording this in, what is it, July 2024. Yeah. Jesus.
We've been doing this way too long.
You're going great.
Still, I'm with you. Grey and bald myself. So, yeah, like that we were only saying before we started recording, I had just gone full time with Guinness Guru like a month before that, and I wouldn't have had any idea what was ahead of me. I was probably right in the kind of ascendancy of all the pub videos and all going really well. Like I'd been up the north a few different places and gone to the big hitters like Galway, Cork, Dublin, Limerick, and those videos were quite popular. Then kind of same stuff into 2022, and then like I'd always, whenever anyone would ask what's like the dream place to go and review pints, I would always say New York City. And I was able to go there in November 20, so about a year after that, November 2022. Did that, unbelievable. New York up to Boston, rating pints, just genuinely like I was like pure pinch me for like the 4 days I was there. I was like, it's unbelievable. And then once that was finished, then it was like Christmas 2022, and then I was a bit like, right, this Guinness stuff is great and it's popular. It was probably starting to plateau at that stage as well. Yeah. And I was like trying to look at, so I'm 31 now, that was probably like 29, 30 then, trying to look like 10 years down the line going, right, am I going to be 40 just going into pubs, rating pints, constantly trying to come up with new words to describe a pint of Guinness. So I don't know, it's like when people say like if someone breaks up with their missus, it's like they're probably thinking about her for about like 6 months beforehand. It's a bit like that with changing from Guinness Guru to my own name. So from like January I was going, I'm not sure how to go about this, but I want to expand this. And I think the last time I was on the pod, you had said at the end, what's kind of the lifelong goal? And I kind of thought the goal was to build a sort of Irish version of like a Barstool Sports or something like that. And then as time went on, just kind of realised the fucking stress of that, which is outrageous. Like trying to build a big company and like people and dealing with people and stuff like. So it was just more like I just wanted to get involved in other things, like in sports. I like doing, I'm in no way any sort of a comedian or anything like that, but I like doing little silly videos as well. And when I made the decision to change, I changed to my own name, and then I made, obviously hindsight is a great thing, I made the stupid kind of choice of trying to do everything I could to get away from pub videos and establish myself as Darragh Curran and not the Guinness Guru.
Were you just like not enjoying it anymore, or was it just more a case of you wanted to change it up? Or like, do you think you maybe...
It was both.
In hindsight, do you think you maybe overthought it to be a bigger change than what it was? Like,
yeah, I'm a chronic overthinker. Like with everything, like even...
I feel you.
I know how you feel.
Like,
I think we
know,
all
like
are.
even like with the podcast here, you're thinking, what are people going to think about this? And what if we change up our guests? And it's like, no one really gives a bollocks. They're just seeing it coming up on their screen. They either like it or they don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I spent like 6 months being like, or even when I made the change, I was like, what's the crack? But it was a combination of wanting to do other stuff, getting a bit bored of, like, as much as it was living the dream, quote unquote. It was like, I just remember, like, I was up in Bundoran, which was like a fantastic place, but I was just going into the pubs and I was like, all right, let's just get this over with. Like, and that shouldn't have been the attitude, you know what I mean? And you're like, right, what more can I say about a feckin' pint of Guinness? And then, combine that with just wanting to do other things. And another big part of it was like trying to get involved with kind of, I don't know, with different brands and stuff. Like, it was just never going to really happen if they go to your page, just the Guinness Guru. Like, my real name wasn't even on it. Like, people would meet me in the street, they wouldn't even know what my name was. They're just like, Guinness. So yeah, and then was doing all food reviews and all, and like, I have no passion for food. I'm not a foodie at all. I literally eat food to fill myself up. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't care less about what I'm eating, and I hated doing that as well. But that's what I thought I was supposed to be doing, and other random shit. And it was I wouldn't say it was dark. Like, I wasn't depressed or anything, but it was just a very confusing.
Yeah.
Felt so lost between like July and Christmas last year.
I think though, like, it makes sense, like, looking at it to change from Guinness Guru to yourself, because then you can diversify more. But I suppose the decision to kind of block that side off, which kind of made you who you were, because I suppose looking at it from an outsider perspective, like, you're going into these pubs and you're theoretically presenting. So like a TV company could turn around and go, well, that guy would be good to, you know, present something on tourism or something like that. And I think like moving away from that niche to like being a bit more broad probably makes you more appealing to other companies as well. But obviously shutting that side off is like makes you who you were. Like,
but it was just stupid. Like I said, I was just trying to make the transformation as quick as possible so that like no one would know me for Guinness. And it's like, it's so stupid. So from like January this year, I just said, right, I'll keep that. That's my foundation. I'll add on. And it doesn't have to be literally this point is whatever out of 10 and it's got good stick and all. You can, because I love the pub side of things. I do have very much a passion for pubs. I love the stories behind pubs, like the decor and all that sort of stuff, like, fascinates me. So now I'm nearly kind of just going to pubs, getting guests, nearly like doing a podcast in a pub, pulling a pint with someone, chatting shit for 20 minutes, and that's the base of it. And then I can do whatever else I'm doing is just kind of on top of that, you know.
You have been quite transparent on your socials as well. Like, you do like speak about it, because I was like scrolling through, just like you said, to go back and see like what's happened since we came on and all, and like you're even saying at the start of this year, basically what you've just said, you're like, look, I sort of maybe went too far away from it. But like, did you miss that side of it, of like just going into the pubs then? Do you think you sort of realised, oh, that's what I loved? It wasn't just about the Guinness, I suppose. Yeah,
I did miss, like, it made me realise that when I was in the height of it, when I was loving it, it wasn't, the passion wasn't all about the pints. The passion was going into the pubs and meeting, like I love going in and meeting these mad old bastards sitting at the bar and chatting to them, or like the owners and the stories they tell and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, and just on the transparency thing, like, I think that's always been something that people would say if they said they like that and about the channel or the pages or whatever, it's the kind of transparency. Because like, I would do the odd YouTube update and be like, right, I've had a shocker the last kind of 6 months, but here's the kind of plan going forward, you know.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see.
I think you showed that as well in the whole was the forged stout thing, where like you kind of given honest. You didn't like absolutely tear forged stout apart. Yeah. But like, that would have probably, like, looking back at it now, if you'd with carrying the weight of like the Guinness Guru and forged stout obviously directly competing with Guinness. If you'd
Yeah.
have turned around, it'd been an easy option for you to be like, this is the best thing since sliced bread, and
Yeah.
had Conor McGregor, you know,
Yeah,
shouting you out, and it probably would have brought you that one step further, but you didn't do that. You kind of...
Because I think we were talking about that on the last time, because I think I had just done that. And I
Yeah.
was saying, yeah, exactly that. Like, I was, like, some of my mates were probably saying, just go and say it's lovely, and, like,
Yeah.
McGregor will post about it, and blah, blah, blah. It's like,
PayPal you
yeah.
500.
But it's like, that'd be great in the moment, but what's that going to do for me in, like, 5 years' time? Do you know what I mean? So I just think there's so little, and I'm not saying, oh, I'm great, I'm transparent, but that would kind of, I guess, come naturally to me to just be like that.
Yeah.
But there's so little of that online. I find it's so hard to even go online and just look, because it's just so much fake, absolute bollocks.
Yeah.
So
Was there sort of a case of that you like maybe explored all the avenues too with it in terms of like different pubs and stuff? Because obviously you come up here and you go to the big pubs like Bittles and stuff like that. Like, you've sort of been there, done that. Most of the places around the island, like, did you sort of find yourself like running out of places to go?
yeah, definitely, like 100%. That was definitely a reason as well, because like that, when I'd been up the last time, it was like I had been to, you know, Belfast, Galway, Cork, Limerick. Ireland's a small country, and then even in the UK, like Manchester, Liverpool, London, and I started going to the likes of, you know, Leeds and stuff, and I was like, right, it's getting a little bit not as, and like the views were going down then, because it's like, no offense to anyone in Leeds is a lovely place, but
They're not big like tourist attractions.
People
like,
aren't
you
as
know.
interested in the best Guinness in Leeds as they are the best Guinness in London.
Yeah.
Same way here. It's like, again, somewhere like Bundoran or Dundalk, like great places, but you're not going to get as much people clicking as a video in Cork or Galway. So it was just kind of, the views were pretty much, and it's not all about views, but the views were very much kind of going down, and I was like, look, if I'm ever going to make a change, it has to be now. And then I also had the dilemma in my head of, do I change the Guinness Guru page to Darragh Curran, or do I just start a new side one? And I thought, like, if I start a side one, you're starting from zero. You know how hard it is to build up a following. I was like, maybe this is a bit like, because you people have followed you for the points, and now you're just changing that one to your own name. But I kind of just said, like, I don't really care, like, fuck it, I'm just gonna change it, and I'll keep the post up here, because I'm not starting from zero. And then the other page would have just been vacant, like.
But then like people have bought into you, like they've bought into you, like your
You'd like to think
personality and
so.
stuff. Like, it's not just like, it's at the end of the day, it is just really a name. I know people, like, it's sort of like a brand, if you'd say, but like, it's you that's good, like your personality. People have bought into you, so like it makes sense, and it's not. I don't think it's probably as big a thing as people make it out to be, you know. No,
again, just overthinking it, and like, you're the only one just thinking about it 24/7. People see, oh yeah, he changed his name, whatever. But like, on that as well, I feel like anyone who has over, like I've, well, there's 130, let's say Instagram, 130,000 followers.
Yeah.
I'd say 5 to 10,000, and I think this is similar with a lot of anyone who has, say, over like even 10,000 followers. It's like, a lot of people follow you just because they see one video that went viral, they press follow, and then they never even think of you again. You never come up on their page again. So again, it's easy to say, because it's easy for me to say to someone who doesn't have the followers to be like, it doesn't matter, but you just kind of have to realize as well in your head, like, that they don't all really give a bollocks.
And it's not like how it was even whenever I remember like 10 years ago, whenever like YouTube, probably more than that, whenever YouTube kind of came on the scene, and you were like really engaged with people like Casey Neistat or PewDiePie, where it was because the pool was almost a lot less saturated, whereas now, you know, TikTok, everybody almost like anybody could make an account tomorrow and be a creator or an influencer. And it's like one of them things where you really have to stand out and be niche to get people to keep 100%. Coming back, because it's hard, like, to poke yourself up through the crowd and stand out.
But it's the same as like 20 years ago. like TV was just,
Yeah.
you flick through the channels and whatever was on, you were watching.
it,
Now you've got 50 different streaming platforms. You know,
Yeah.
you got YouTube. Some people don't even watch any of the streaming platforms; they just watch YouTube. So it's the same like that online. You've got probably a million TikTok accounts being created every day, and the beauty of TikTok is you can literally just put the phone there. Like TikTok actually hates good production value. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It literally just wants people going on their phone, what's the crack, blah, 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 saying something funny, and there you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely way harder to get people's attention, especially like you go on YouTube, and I don't know about you, but like I just always find myself, I don't even go towards it, but I'm on YouTube and 10 minutes later I'm doing this through the shorts, and I'm like, how the fuck did I get here? So like if I'm expecting people to watch a 20-minute YouTube video and I'm not, I can't even do it myself. Like it's
I
it's a
found
bit
that
of
on the search thing on TikTok when he's done that now. Like, you know, whenever you go on a video, there's always like a top search comment.
yeah.
I like accidentally click on it, and the next thing I'm scrolling through videos in the search comments.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, how the fuck did
Honest to God,
you
yeah.
don't realize till after. You're like,
I
oh,
actually
all these
find
videos are very
myself now-
similar, and then you realize, oh, this is fucking search comments I'm scrolling through.
I'm actually finding myself now, like I'll watch like like even the other day, I think, was it a scene from Shooter, Mark Wahlberg's movie came up.
Yeah.
I was like, flip, I forgot how good this was. And then I ended up, it was like, went into the comment, it was like part 3, and I clicked into it. And I actually, after about probably like half an hour, after it was like part 37, I was sitting going to
Honest to
myself,
God.
I could just stick on this movie on the TV and watch it. Why am I going through TikTok?
But if you put it on the TV, for some reason you'll be like bored
Scrolling.
and you'll go on
Yeah.
your phone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like
Can't pay
if you're
attention.
getting, it's like it's nearly like your brain says, "Oh no, I'm choosing to watch just these 2 minutes at a time." So
Yeah.
like I'm in control
Easier
or something like
consumed,
that.
but then
No, I'm the exact same. Like you end up fucking watching about 50 parts of some
Yeah.
bullshit drama between two people that you don't even give a shit about. Like,
Then you're scrolling through Netflix, and you're like, I've definitely watched that before.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah. TikTok.
did you feel like with like going back to the New York thing that you were talking about, like obviously whenever we last had you on, that was your kind of dream,
yeah.
and did you almost feel like when you started doing like the Guinness Guru side of things full time, that was the dream? It kind of almost came too quickly to the point where after it happened you were like, well, this is kind of, because most people are always striving to, you hear a lot of people say it. When I look back now, it was about the journey, not the destination, but most people are looking forward to this like sort of pinnacle of their career, and it kind of, not to say that was the pinnacle of your career, but it kind of came very quick.
Well, it was definitely, yeah, it definitely was the pinnacle of the Guinness Guru side of things. It's hard to know. Like you say, it came quick, and then I'm there thinking this is taking forever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
Because it was wasn't it a year?
yeah, which
Yeah, you see, like,
doesn't seem like
yeah.
much at all. But I suppose like it wasn't like I was saying my dream is. I would like to think it was a fairly realistic dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and I was lucky enough that it was actually Bittles, John from Bittles contacted me, and he said, we'll sponsor you to go over, just give the pub a shout out or something like that. So, but no, definitely while I was there, I made sure I said, like, right, take this all in, because you have said it over and over that this is the dream. But sure, even that trip was gas, because I was staying in Queens. I tried to just get somewhere cheap.
Yeah.
Staying in Queens, it was fucking probably -5 degrees. It was absolutely freezing. And I got the proper real New York experience, because I was staying there, walking up to the subway, seeing like New York is actually, if you go to New York, you know, I don't know, with your missus, and you just stay in Manhattan for like 3-4 days, it's class. Like, but if you go and you stay in like, or you go out to Brooklyn or the Bronx or Queens or something, like, you see the New York that people really talk about, because it's just like absolute lunatics. And even I was in a shop near where I was staying, and just in the queue, I didn't know where the queue was, so I was just kind of standing back, and then this woman who was in front of me, she was like paying for her groceries, and she just starts like shouting at me that I was like cutting the queue or something like this, and I like looked at the people behind me, and they were like, "No, you're grand," and she just started shouting at me, and then the person in the tail was like, "That's New York." It's just, that's so normal over there. Like,
What? How did you find New York and all? Like, was it good? Like, did you enjoy it? What was
I
the
loved
pubs
it,
and
like,
stuff like?
yeah, so like luckily I'd have like I'd probably say New York is, like, I think it was my dream to go there to do pints because I'd been there a couple of times before, and I just think it's the coolest place ever because you just feel like you're in like a movie when you're there. And the pubs were great. Like, two of the pubs in Manhattan did kind of like Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and then went up to Boston. But two of the pubs in Manhattan are owned by a couple of guys, but the main kind of front of house guy is a guy called Johnny Kennedy, and he's just an absolute character. He's from somewhere in Dublin, and then he ended up, it was those two and then like the Dead Rabbit and stuff like that. But on the last day, Johnny ended up actually taking me around to he was like, I'll bring you to, I only had about 3 or 4 hours, and then I had to go get my flight, and he goes, right, you want to do Brooklyn and Queens, I'll bring you around, meet me at the front in like 5 minutes. And I presumed he was going to be in a car, and he was just him, and he said, like, if you drive around New York, like, it's pointless. So he basically took me to the subway, and we were jumping here and there. He knew where to go. He was pulling doors open the whole lot, and got to like 4 pubs in like 3 hours. And even he took me. We got one Uber, and it was to go through Williamsburg, which is where all the Orthodox Jews live.
Yeah,
and it was like, that was one of the coolest, maddest experiences ever. Like, you literally, you're on one block, and in the next block, there's no one else but these people dressed in all the black and all, and then like within like 5 blocks you're out of it. Like, it's so unique. And I had just watched that show, is it called Unorthodox or something on Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I was like, this is unreal. But no, in general, yeah, as a trip, it was unbelievable.
yeah.
What did you say you went to the Dead Rabbit?
Yeah,
I think I went there whenever I was in it. It was class pub. Like, there's some
Savage.
lovely pubs over there, like
Yeah.
Irish pubs. And
yeah, I'd say I think that was the highest rated pint I gave, and I think as a pub, like,
I will agree, that was
Yeah.
the best pint I got whenever I was there. There's a
Yeah.
lot of not great pints in it, like, but
yeah,
it was probably one of the best I got.
in terms of like feeling like you're in Ireland,
Yeah.
that was the best, to be fair. Like, it was just, they had, like, you know, all the different money on the top of the bar and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, that's like right at the kind of bottom of Manhattan. Really cool area as well. And Jesus, just an unbelievable pub. Like,
I think, like, when you look back at it now, it's all them things that they're all things that I know it was under the Guinness Guru, which is obviously the thing that you've tried to sort of separate yourself from, but so many things that you've done can like lead to obviously where you're going now, which is obviously working with brands and like the idea of like presenting and stuff like that. I suppose, like, what's that transition like who all have you had the opportunity to work with?
To be honest, like, it's only really been, like, again, this is July 2024. It's only really been the last kind of 3 months that anything is, like, I remember, this sounds so like weird to say, but I would see different people like working with different brands, and even just like maybe going on a trip with a brand or something like that. And I'm not saying it's all about brands, like, obviously you want to do real work as well, but I just remember thinking, like, I just want to be in a position where, and it sounds weird, but like where you're wanted. So like,
Yeah.
people are I don't know, like, say I just went on a trip with Sky Ireland over to where the Open is going to be this weekend.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're obviously looking through, I don't know, I'm thinking of the word Rolodex or something from like the 90s, but they're looking through like a lot of people, and they're kind of picking who we bring on this trip. Now, it's not like they're spending too long. They're just going, sure, we're bringing this. And like, I just wanted to be someone on that sort of radar.
Yeah.
And I do genuinely think if what I was doing was still just strictly Guinness Guru, you wouldn't really be on those types of radars. So like, that was with Sky, and then I was contacted by Aviva to go and say, did you want to go and do something with the Irish rugby team? That is literally like post Guinness Guru with the New York dream. If you said, what's your dream in terms of doing some sort of a collab or whatever, like, I said, anything with Irish rugby would be unbelievable. Like, and like, I've gotten to do stuff with different rugby players, and then this weekend I'm doing the cliff diving thing with Red Bull. like Red Bull's pretty fucking,
It's a good brand to get.
pretty cool brand.
Pretty
Like,
big
do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So that, like, that's all that stuff is well and good, but like I do again like the idea of the kind of presenting stuff, and even like doing like MC stuff. I like the idea of. I'm doing my first kind of, and this sounds ridiculous, but I always thought, like, do I like the idea of doing that MC stuff or not? And then my brother's wedding was last year, and I was best man, and I did a speech. It was like 20 minutes long, and I really enjoyed it. And like I wrote it out, and I had a few silly little jokes and stuff, and I really enjoyed the idea of like trying to capture the room and all that sort of stuff. So that, since then I was like, right, I might try and like pursue this. So I'm actually doing like my first, it's for like my local rugby club, but it's going to be in front of like 300 or 400 people. So that's in like September. So proper like black tie job. So we'll see how that goes. And then if that goes well, I'll kind of pursue that a bit more. But that's the type of stuff you're like, whatever, working with all the brands, but you have to think like, right, how can I make a bit of money as well?
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of the brand stuff is just like you go on a trip, or you're not getting paid for it. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you get to go on a free trip. It's great. And then that kind of leads to maybe paid work down the line. But you have to think like, what's going to be the kind of day-to-day money maker.
Yeah.
And then radio would be something I'd like to do, but also I feel like you're kind of, I mean, I'm loving not having to like apply for holidays or something. If I want, like, you know, if you're working like a Monday to Friday on a radio station, you have to go, oh, can I have a week off in August or something like that? Whereas at the moment, like, it just,
You decide.
you don't really have to do that. You know?
How are you finding like the self-employed thing? Like obviously we touched on like when you were on like a couple of years ago was when you proper went full time at it. Like I think maybe people see the content and like content creators or whatever you want to call it, they see it as like a glamorous lifestyle, but like in reality, like it probably has its stressful moments as well. Like you're saying, like you need the jobs that are going to pay the bills essentially. Like,
yeah, I mean, like anything, time, it improves over time. Like at the start, like I remember doing my first tax bill, and you're just like, what the fuck is the crack with this? Like, do you know what I mean? You're like, what can I put down as an expense, and what can't I? In the first year with a business card, just thinking, well, if I just put everything on this, then I won't have a tax bill. Then you realize, well, you're still spending the money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, what is it? I'm kind of nearly 3 years into it now. So yeah, there's just so much you learn. And then even trying to like the whole thing, pay yourself first, trying to pay, like I still struggle with that. It's like you get money in, you're trying to pay yourself, but then come the end of the month, it's like you're putting some of that back in. And then probably the biggest thing that people probably don't know about, like it all looks glamorous, and even like someone could, I'm not saying me, but someone could do a job with a big company, and they do the job in July, and it's for like, I don't know, $5,000. They mightn't see that money till December. Do you know what I mean? So it's, the hard part is, and I'm not good with numbers and maths and calculations and expenses versus income and all this, and you can't really like you read these books about managing your budgets and all that, but if you don't know what's coming in every month, you don't know. It's like, am I going to get that in July or August or September? It's like trying to budget for anything is borderline impossible. So those are kind of the challenges, but I would definitely take it over whatever the alternative is, you know.
it's quite sporadic sort of work in a way, like, you know.
It is.
Like obviously you're saying like you're working with big brands and stuff, but again, like you could be waiting months, and then maybe it's like you do something and then something comes straight away. Like surely that side of things is a bit like, does it be stressful, or are you sort of just going with the flow, happy enough with it? Like,
the only reason, like, and I've said this in my YouTube videos, and like, so there's a company called Manscaped that has sponsored my YouTube for the last like 4 years, and that's been like the only kind of, since going self-employed, that's been the only sort of regular income that I kind of know, right? If I sign a 6-month contract, I know at least I'm going to get X amount every month for the next 6 months. You're like, right, I can pay the rent, can pay for the shopping, and maybe a little bit of spending money or whatever, and then whatever else is on top of it. If I didn't have that, I think I'd be like, I don't know if I could do it full time, like, because like that there could be nothing for like 3 months, and then you could do two things that accumulates to like, could be like 10 grand, but then you're like nothing for another 3 months, you know, and then you're not getting the money till God knows when. So, and there's all like trying to, waiting for companies to pay and all this and invoicing and all. So, yeah.
So apart from like the manscape side of things, like I suppose looking at it and developing yourself as self-employed, how do you kind of mitigate that? Is it more just trying to bring people on regularly, or because obviously you're saying the brand deals are sporadic and you might not get paid for a couple of months, so how are you kind of ensuring? Just suppose if there's anybody listening right now who is wanting to go down that route, or even on the cusp of where you were at 2.5 years ago, going, you know what?
I'd say like there's no harm in and there's no, like, if getting a part-time, doing something part-time, I think there's no what's the fucking word I'm trying to think,
no harm.
Don't feel like you're above that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to bring in, you know, even $1,000 a month. Like I do a Monday and a Friday with Off the Ball. They're like kind of big sporting.
They're a big
media
podcast,
company,
like media company.
Yeah, they do like podcasts and radio and all that sort of stuff. And that's like a big operation. It's a real like kind of credible, respectable brand. Or they've been around for like 20 years. And I go in there like, and I'm just, it's like whatever money, but it's not like they've headhunted me and it's some astronomical money. Like I just went to them kind of towards the end of last year when I didn't know what I was at, and I was like, I like sport, see what the crack is with these. And we've agreed I go in on a Monday and a Friday. It kind of bookends the week, it structures the week, because that was something I really lacked over the last 2 years, just structure. Like get up on a Monday morning, you don't have to be anywhere, you can sleep in till whatever time. And I'm really like, if I don't have a good Monday morning, I don't know, like I've definitely some sort of OCD or whatever it is. Like if I don't have a good Monday morning, like the whole rest of the week could be fucked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like my missus is the complete opposite. Like she could, you know, because she kind of works, she like works a show and it's into the evenings, so she could kind of be in the bed say till like 8 or 9 or whatever, and just like doing emails on the phone and all. Like I wish I could be like that. I'm just not. I'm real. Like if I said I was going to get up at 6:30 and I don't, I'm like beating myself up about it, and I'm all over the shop. So like the Off the Ball, it's you're in early, you're out early, Monday and Friday. I'd probably get more done on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday than I would in 5 days if I wasn't doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like being busy nearly makes you more productive or something.
You feel like you need to get it done in that time, whatever.
Yeah, so that's one thing I would say is like, don't think you're too. And obviously, like the Off the Ball stuff, it's sports, it's media. It's not like it's a part-time job, like doing something totally random.
Yeah,
but
I actually enjoy doing it.
Again, I think I was trying to say, don't be too proud to be, even if you're getting brand deals for $5,000, like there's no guarantee you mightn't get one for another. Like get something that's just, if you're renting, you know, you're paying $1,000 a month, get something that's going to cover that, and it just give you a bit of peace of mind. You know, because peace of mind is fucking priceless. Like
yeah. And what was your trip with Sky? Was it Trin you were at?
Troon, yeah, place I'd never even heard of. Like I played the odd bit of golf, but I'm not like hugely into golf. So that was.
Do you have a handicap?
No.
We asked someone this. Remember we asked Andrew Ryan that. He's like, I play a bit of golf. And we were like, what's your handicap? And he's like, 9.
I hate that.
Me and Tommy were like,
See, I'm like casual golf. Like I played a good bit when I was younger and sort of just played now and then now. And like you'd be chatting to boys who play golf and they're like, I'm not that great. And you're like, what's your handicap? And they're like, I play off 6. And I'm like, lad, fuck off. Like,
yeah, sure. When I was over there, like that's every fucker says that. They're just like, you say, how do you play? It's like, oh, badly. Everyone with the same shitty gag. And then you're like, what are you playing off? I'm off 6. You're like, you're obviously unbelievable. But I don't have a handicap. If I play, it's actually perfect. I just play with my local GA club society. You basically pay like 30 quid membership. You play 6 or 7 really nice courses throughout the year, maybe once a month on a Friday, take a half day from work, and you pay like, I don't know, 50 quid or whatever the green fee is. You get it a little bit cheaper, and I'm more than happy playing golf, you know, once a month during the summer months. But no, the trip was like this is the thing. Like we didn't even go to the golf course. Like you know that the Open is on.
Aye.
We stayed in a place called Dundonald, which is like 15 minutes away. We were just basically going to like an event on a Monday night. The Open doesn't start till Thursday. We were going to an event in a pub just because like Sky Sports Golf was merging with Adidas for a sponsorship thing and all that. So this is the thing, like once you kind of get on these lists, whatever, like it's like you're kind of hopefully like you're kind of then next time something comes up, they're like, oh yeah, he was good crack in the last one, we'll bring him again. But actually, do you know John Daly?
Yeah.
Like American golfer, a mad bastard.
Oh yeah.
Smoke cigars and drinking cans of Coke. He was on our flight and he was staying where we were staying was like this kind of golf course place with all these lodges, and like outside there's about 10 lodges, and then in the middle is just like a putting green. So he was out there on the putting green, like it's unbelievable. And Daly was actually staying in the one next to us because if you win a major, I didn't even know this, if you win a major, you get invited back to play it every year until you're 60 or something.
Did you not see the bit in the press for Tiger Woods? So basically, like, what do you call the fucking golfer? Basically, an old golfer.
Colin Montgomery.
Basically, in a press conference or like an interview or whatever, was basically like, I think it's time for like Woods to hang it up. Like he's not really playing well, whatever. And they asked Woods in the press conference, and he's like, well, I've won it, so I get to come till I'm 60. He hasn't won it, so he doesn't get that opportunity. So
yeah,
like a big thing on, like, so
he was very much like, well, he hasn't won any, so fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Tiger Woods he's not even 50, is he?
No, it's just the injuries and all he's had. Like it's just, but he can still play. Like, sure, he won the Masters 2 years ago. Like,
yeah. So so Daly was beside us, but I think someone said he's kind of given up all the drink and all because he was fairly quiet beside us. He wasn't up to much. But yeah, what a mad bastard.
Those sort of stuff though, like I know you're saying you probably don't like. There's not much money wise comes from it, but the opportunity and to be maybe featured in a video that they put out could also lead to someone going, he's not bad at presenting. Yeah,
like it really is. Like I used to. I'm sure like you get plenty of people on here because you're saying like a lot of stuff lately has been kind of more businessy and stuff. So I'm sure plenty of people would agree with, like, even I hate the word like networking because it just sounds so fucking up your own arse. Yeah. But it is just such a big part of it, and like it's not like in a business world where you're going to some conference and you're in a suit and you're shaking hands and like, how's it going? My name's Darragh and I have this product, and you're trying to like get clients and stuff. But you realise over the couple of years, like I used to hate going to any sort of influencery type event because I just thought this is all so fake and all. But you can just realise like you can either have that opinion, don't go, get nowhere, or you can go, be yourself, get chatting to people, and eventually it'll lead to, like, I think where I am now is because of kind of a good 2-3 years of kind of going to, and I used to just be getting dragged along by my missus, like as her +1, and it's kind of, you start getting invited to ones of your own, and you just get to know people over the years. And now it's at a stage where like you're kind of not just getting invited to events, but you're getting invited to these trips and stuff, and you would like to think then you're kind of on the cusp of actually working with these brands. So you'd like to think, I don't know, if Sky needed someone to host this thing, like you're kind of, you're on the radar and that sort of stuff. And but like it's so like, because it's not like business networking, it's literally just go, be yourself, try be a good crack, don't try too hard, but just be yourself and have a laugh. And they're not even like, oh, just everyone now make sure you post this or tag this. It's literally just have a good time. They know you're just gonna put something up, like, so it's but it's an accumulation of just going to kind of wanky event after event.
It's a competitive industry as well, like, because like even you're saying like Sky, like you're not just competing with people from here, like you're people from the UK, you know, all sorts of people. It's a tough game, like.
But it's you don't really like, you don't know how the fuck you end up really anywhere, you know. It's just you're kind of there. And because I went to Italy with Red Bull like 2 weeks ago, and then over to Scotland with Sky, in the space of like not being invited on a kind of PR trip like that in whatever 4 years, and then you get two in the space of like 2 weeks, and you're just like, and it's like all paid for, like taxi from you. You don't have to do anything, like a taxi waiting outside your house to bring you to the airport, and it's like fast track, and you're in the lounge and all this. And obviously you have to try not let it get to your head as well. But I think because I've been at it for like kind of 4 or 5 years, it's not like I kind of I'd like to think I'd be humble enough and not be like, oh look, I'm fucking in the lounge and this is normal for me. But you're just sitting there going, Jesus, how the fuck did I end up here? Like,
is that something you did struggle with at the start? Not so much maybe like getting those opportunities, but like say for example you're doing brand deals and you're getting a huge amount of money in one go. Did you find that hard to manage that money, like prevent yourself from just blowing it all in one go? Or
I'll be honest, it was never enough to be like, how am I gonna manage this amount of money? You know what I mean? And like I said, by the time you actually get the fucking money, you're like, you're going, right, well, I don't know, say you have an account, this sounds so boring, but if you have like a savings account that you're supposed to put 500 a month into, you're like, well, I haven't been able to do that for the last 3 months because I was waiting on this money, and like it's all just going into that then. So no, I'd like to think I might have that problem at some stage in the near future, but no, it's definitely never been more than whatever to be like, oh Jesus, like how am I gonna manage this amount of money, you know?
What's been some of your favourite moments like, then from like the stuff you've done? Obviously you touched on the Irish rugby thing. Like, has there been any other real like pinch me moments where you're like, fuck, can't believe this?
Jesus. I think like going doing the thing with the Irish rugby lads was because I kind of knew it was a pinchy moment because of how nervous I was before it. Like especially when I saw Peter O'Mahony's name on the list, I was like, this lad does not fuck around. And I'd say he hates these type of media days and all that sort of stuff. So I was just like, how can I know he's going to be probably like that, how can I nearly use that to my advantage? So that's why I kind of approached it like taking the piss or whatever that. But after that, like it was one of those during it, you're super nervous and you're just trying to get all the best shots of it, and then you're just driving home after going, fuck me. And I don't think like that I haven't earned enough to be like, will there ever be a time when you get offered X amount and you're going, oh, pinch me? But I don't think it'll ever be like that with money. It's just it's the experiences, and like it's and it's not even a, oh my god, that's gonna get me so many more opportunities. It's literally just like, I'm doing this because I have always loved making videos. Like that's the core of everything. I love making videos. I love Irish rugby, and like I would fucking idolize these lads. I get to pair those two together. I get the creative control over the whole thing, and that was definitely like, holy shit.
What about the picture this one then? That was a bit surreal, like.
That was class, because I did it just like a YouTube video with the lads from Picture This, and again, like it's been kind of like, it's definitely hit or miss getting guests, but like with them, I would have noticed that they were, say, like it was like with the Guinness stuff, it was sometimes easy enough because like they might be following you, or they might have messaged it if you're somewhere going, oh, was there a good point there, and then it's a really natural to just be like, oh yeah, do you want to come on or whatever. But that was very cool, but also quite stressful because I wouldn't have a setup like this, and you're trying to, it only kind of dawns on you like a week before, you're like, right, there's gonna be 5 of us in the video, I've only got 2 microphones, what the fuck am I gonna do? So I was kind of just like sitting in the middle, like doing that. But no, that was a cool experience. And then like got Ryan to sing that song at the end of it and stuff. But the video I did with Mac Hansen a few months ago, Ireland and Connacht player, that was pretty surreal. Again, I just DM'd him and he was just like, yeah, no problem. So
James Haskell as well, I think he done stuff for him.
Haskell, actually,
he's good crack.
When I think of like favorite ever person on the channel, it's probably him. Because he's he's quite a polarizing figure. Like some people think he's an absolute wanker, and some people think he's an absolute legend. I think he's an absolute legend. And he wouldn't mind me saying that some people think he's a wanker, because he just has that type of personality. Like he doesn't give a fuck. And like the first time I did the video with him, when I don't know, 2022 maybe, and then again a few months ago, he was like, like it was so handy because he had been following me. It wasn't just like, how are you, like a call being like, how would you like to do this? And then they just show up and they're like, let's get this done. Yeah. So he was, I couldn't say enough about it. Like, he's the type of lad, you just get him on camera, you mic him up and you just let him go. He's like revving up a lawnmower, like he's the star, like, and you're just kind of there. He is just going, like, he's an absolute, I'd love to do something with him again because he's just unbelievable. Like,
yeah. Who outside of Ireland rugby and all the people you've sort of came in contact with, who would be the one DM that if they responded you'd be like, holy moly?
Well, I think I'd have to say Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports, purely just because, like, he kind of inspired the whole Guinness stuff at the start. And then, like, even though I don't know what he would make of a pint of Guinness, but like, he's probably the main one I could think of that if I sat down and did a
pizza on a Guinness video or something.
a Guinness video like that would be unbelievable. I'm trying to think of like even other sports people. Like, there's certain comedians that would obviously be like, someone I love is Kevin Bridges.
Yeah.
He's just so fucking funny. And then, like, yeah, I'd love to see. I've always been so bad at, like we were saying beforehand, like, the hardest thing about podcasts, or like me trying to get guests on the YouTube channel, is just trying to get consistent guests. And you only kind of realize that the easiest time to get someone is when they're on like a press tour.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that didn't dawn on me for a long time, but I still don't really get people through that. But I do think because I'm happy enough to keep doing like that kind of format of video of get someone into a pub, pull a pint. You could nearly compare it to like the chicken shop day. That kind of, obviously it's not really that similar, but she gets, like, Amelia de Maldenberg, like, is obviously as herself and a team, and they get people when they're, you'll see the same person on Hot Ones, on her show, on, I don't know, whatever the biggest podcasts are around the UK and America. So it's I like to think if I could tap into that, you could get like some seriously big names, because someone would be thinking, right, I'm coming to Ireland, or like their press officer or whatever will be like, I'm coming to, okay, this guy does, like, you go and have a Guinness in a pub, like, that would be pretty kind of on brand with coming to Ireland and stuff. So I'd like to think that if I can, but I don't know how you find out when these people are here. That's the thing.
Literally just go on the 3 Arena and just look at who's coming, like, in a couple of months' time.
That's a really
it's not easy.
That's a good show.
Have you not seen the big guests we've had on?
Well, the issue is you're probably able to get them on. They'd be like, who are these guys?
It's easier in Dublin, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, or even like looking at who's releasing a book or who's releasing the fucking new album, whatever. Or it's always actors, like movies and stuff.
And in return for my brilliant idea, if you get them all, pass them down our way. There's lads 2 hours down the road really struggling right now.
I'll say, look, they won't have a clue, so I'll say, you just hop on the M1. It's only about 5 minutes up the road. And I was like, just keep going. You just got lost.
Nearly there. I suppose that's the difficulty of it too, that you're doing a lot of that yourself. Like, the likes of that research and just to get someone on, that's probably a full-time job for a lot of people too. Like.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and you don't know how much to fucking research someone and how much to just, like, something. Again, I'd say you lads can relate. When I started doing like any sort of interview or getting people on, I would write notes, and I'd have like a notepad there, and I'd have it beside me, or the phone. And like, I'd say my interviewing skills have gone from probably a 1 out of 10 to maybe a 4 out of 10. I think that I still have
a big jump.
Yeah, it is. Like, it's 4x. But I think what I've learned is, and like, I wouldn't be a huge fan of like the Joe Rogan podcast, but what's very evident and why he's had the success is because he's doing it like 15 years. He doesn't need, and it kind of feels like what's like here, it's like I think I'm better at, instead of having a notepad, because it's so hard to, like, I'm listening to you and I'm going, what's the next question? And you might miss something they say, and it's much easier to just pick up on something someone says And that's what I found lately. I'll have like a few bullet points that if I really have nothing else to say, I'll literally go a word that's written, and it might be like, I don't know, in a match they played or something like that.
Yeah.
But I do think that's someone like Joe Rogan, that's where the experience comes in, that nothing will phase you, that you will just literally, you can just chat to someone, talk to someone for like fucking 4 hours, like, and they don't run out. But can I ask you, would you have like a dream guest if it was sky's the limit? You could click your fingers and get me out of this seat and put someone in.
I'd love to have on, I suppose, like I've always said, like Sam Fender when we've talked about this, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
love his music and stuff.
Class.
He'd be good crack, but
He would be good crack as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mark Goldbridge would be on one.
Yeah, I suppose
The United fella.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Class, like.
it's the difficulty of like, you can always think of the most famous person, like you get them on a podcast and it could be crap, like, you know, like the
I know.
story might not be great, like.
I think it's different though for us three, because like we would get such a dynamic. Like I always picture it where it would be like, I know if you got Sam Fender on, it would be like you doing 100% of the talking.
Yeah.
And I know like I would go for like Marcus Mumford, and it would just be like even if you even tried to interject, I'd be like, shush now. It's like like I think it's like for us it's more, whereas for you it's so easy. It would kind of be easier to go, right, I really want to talk to this guy. But when it comes to planning guests for us, and I suppose that's why we sort of diversified recently, where it's more like business people, is because like, how can we all as a group relate to this person? Theo Vaughan was in Belfast recently, and I think he would have been an unhinged but class person to
I hear if you got him, holy fucking Jesus! Like
the stuff he was saying about Ireland, you were just like, oh my god.
There's
Like
that other guy who was in Belfast a couple of weeks before that. Oh, he's
Paul
like
Smith?
No,
Shane Gillis,
no, he does all the like not motivational videos, but grey hair.
Gary V,
No.
Grant Cardone,
Jordan Peterson. Yeah,
Jordan Peterson.
He would have been
Peterson.
like him, or is it Neil deGrasse Tyson as
He's
well?
proper deep. Like.
Yeah.
like it's gas with those lads. Like they have been on every fucking podcast. It's like they must have literally been on a million podcasts. Like when they go somewhere, and I don't know how they might go and do like 5 podcasts in a day. I feel like
And even Kevin Hart was over here recently shooting that movie Lift. But it was all shot in Belfast. Well, not all of it, but a bit of it was shot in Belfast. Like they shot a bit in the Crown Bar.
right.
The movie
What's it
Lift
about?
on Netflix.
That's
it's about
proper shit. Like,
yeah,
it's just shit,
yeah. Well, he'll not be coming on the podcast after.
Is it like
it would've
fucking
been-
Hidley
well,
Ho? I'm in Ireland,
like
or
a heist movie.
heist?
Heist.
It's like a heist
It's a
movie.
cooking show. No, it's like a heist film. So it's basically just like I don't even know how to describe it. Like.
And is the characters in it from Belfast?
No, it's
no.
just like a normal
right.
heist film. So
It's not even based in
I
Belfast.
think it's probably because of the studio, you know, where Game of Thrones and all was done.
Right,
I think
yeah.
probably a lot of it was shot there. I'd say like.
One person that I would love to get on, well, there's two. Casey Neistat, because I grew up watching him. I think he's class. And then there's another guy. I've listened to a few podcasts, and he's just went out on his own now. A guy Tim Chizuno.
Right.
He's on TikTok, but he's that guy. He's like an American guy, and at the start of his videos, he goes POV, like you're in a day, like, and he does like these day in the life.
Right.
But his whole thing was about how he navigates life in like corporate America and managing, like he's like a marketing communications guy, but he manages a team of like 200 people. I've listened to a couple of podcasts he's been doing recently, and he's now like completely left. He's to write a book, but he's just such an interesting guy that it's really about getting people on that you just unpack and like talk about topics, but then also talk about them as well.
Would you ever consider doing, like, if you got to a stage where you could get whoever you wanted, would you consider doing like one-on-ones?
I think I'd struggle one-on-one.
I think
Would
one
you?
of the thing we
Yeah,
shot
I
it-
think
Even if it was someone you were like obsessed with.
I don't think I'd be confident doing like an hour, maybe like 10-20 minutes with them, you know, like a
Okay.
quick video, but one-on-ones I
See,
wouldn't be.
I disagree. Like, I think I think you would pick people in a technical
then
area,
I
and
suppose-
you could go off. Like,
Yeah,
Like,
if
I'd
I
say,
was
like-
very interested, but then I think I maybe cope better under pressure. So if I had to do it,
Yeah.
We should
whereas I find sometimes like whenever it's
Yeah.
us relaxed here, I'm sitting enjoying it, nearly find myself just listening.
We had
Whereas if it was just me, I think I'd be like, "Fuck, I need to do
we
this."
had
you know?
we had a guy on. It was me and you. You were off. You were on holiday,
Yeah.
and me and Shay were interviewing a guy who owns a solar probably the biggest solar company like over here, and like There's so many times where you were asking such technical questions, and I was like, I could walk out here and just let these two crack.
Yeah, that's
on.
what I mean. Like, if it's something you're into, like, if I sat
it's-
down with, like, even when I was with, say, like James Haskell, like, I could just ask him, and I know he wouldn't give a shit what like. There's nothing I couldn't ask him, and I would literally. You're like a little kid, like just fanboying, but like that, because you're asking stuff that the listener would probably ask as well. But I suppose the more niche you go with the person, it's like how many people are interested in it, but it's impossible to know.
You're diving now. What the heck happened there? Like,
Diving, I keep it should be called Red Bull cliff jumping. Just spat there. Yeah, because like. Yeah, so I got an email from Red Bull, or from a guy called Ben, who works for whatever, the marketing side of Red Bull Ireland. This is like 3 months ago even. He said we're building up to, it's all like at the end of it, it's all about just promoting the Red Bull cliff diving that's going to be on in Ireland, which is in Ballycastle and Antrim this weekend. And he said we're putting together a little team of like 6 content creators to do an hour's training session every Thursday for a month, then go to Italy to watch the Red Bull cliff diving, and then go up to Ballycastle to do a little dive. And we've been doing all the proper like diving like this and all from like 1 meter or 3 meters, but at the end of the day what we're building up to is to just kind of jump off of a 10 meter platform. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what we do, it's all just to, and again, they're not like you have to post this, you have to do this, but it's just because we're doing it on Thursday, and then the actual cliff diving event is Friday, Saturday, and it's not like a thing you need to like buy tickets for. It's just you go and watch it from wherever, like, you know, because it's just you're just going and standing on a cliff and watching it. But again, that's just been like a really cool thing that I've been able to be involved with, and it's like we've a free trip to Italy for like 4 days watching the cliff diving, which is I. Genuinely not just saying this like because I'm involved with it, but the maddest shit you'll ever see in your life.
What
like,
sort of height are they jumping off?
27 meters. And they're doing fucking like there's 2 days, and the first day they're doing like, well, according to them, like safe enough dives, and then the second day they're like, it's like one guy will dive, he'll go into first place, the next guy dives, he goes into first place. So it's just literally they're doing the best they can. Like lads doing five flips, or like they'll go and they'll do like they'll be like this, and they'll do like this mad spins into 2 flips into the back. Like the control they have is unbelievable, and it's only if you actually go and see it in person, and you're like, it's like a lot of sports. I think seeing it on TV is one thing, seeing it in person, you're like, these lads are outrageously like talented, like, and then they know exactly when to just level themselves up and hit the water. And it's absolutely mental. So yeah, just a really cool thing to be involved with. Red Bull, I've always, like, if you go on, like, at Red Bull will be one of the best kind of marketed products, because like if you think of Red Bull, like there's obviously the actual drink, but then you go on their Instagram, you barely even see a can of Red Bull. You just see a lot of lads doing mad shit, and they're really promoting like a culture, a lifestyle, whatever. And I wouldn't be super mad, crazy outdoorsy, but this just been it's just obviously a sick brand to be involved with, and you don't know what'll come from it.
Flip me, like you say, like you don't know what'll come from it. Like you never know. A year down the line, you could be throwing yourself off 27 meters.
Fucking absolutely no chance. I was literally up in so we've been doing a training in the National Aquatic Centre in Dublin, and like we built up, they've got like a 3, a 5, a 7 and a 10 meter platform, and gradually built up. I think on the 3rd week I jumped off the 10 meter once, and then the 4th week I jumped off it like 3 times, and that was probably like 3 weeks ago. And I hadn't done it since, and I went up last night. They said we could have one final go, and I was just as shitting myself as the first time, because it's like use it or lose it. And I a little bit of a head on me, a little bit of a hangover, because I'd been at that event in Scotland the night before, and like my heart was just fucking racing, jumping off the 10, and like, because I'm a big lad, like I'm 110 kilos, like, so hitting the water is you smash it, like, and I think the sea will actually be slightly easier, not easier, but because like the water's so still in the pool, and you're up on the 10 meter. You're literally, the ceiling is like here, and you're just like, it's, I don't know what, it's just so freaky, and the water's so flat, and you can see the bottom, whereas like the ocean is kind of like this. So, but honestly, I think once it's done, like I'll be sticking to
They'll be
3 meters, 5
like,
meters.
no.
Yeah,
Automatic reply.
yeah. But
I was up those ones in Let's Go Hydro, and they're only about 20 foot or so, 15 foot, and they're fucking, like, they don't look high whenever you're looking at them, but
honestly, yeah, you're looking at it from the side, and you look at someone jump off, you're like, you're up there.
Looking down,
I think there's one thing. There's one thing as well about like jumping feet first, but jumping head first is like a completely, in my opinion, a completely different.
100%. Like I'd only be jumping feet first off of the 10.
Oh right.
Like,
I thought you were.
I know, that's why I keep saying to people,
You're not doing
do a flip.
You're not doing flips and all. Like.
honestly,
Lad, imagine you get up there and
know.
you just unhinged, do a dive, and execute it perfectly.
yeah, imagine, yeah,
Like
fucking
26 meters.
triple back.
exactly. Literally, like I
Start doing flips.
because I was doing like flips off of like 3 meters and stuff, and I think like the thing I keep saying to people is, it seems like I've been fucking doing this training forever now. We've only actually done 4 hours in the pool of diving training.
Yeah.
It's not much, and it's definitely not enough for me to be going diving head first. So like once the video goes up and it's just me jumping off a 10, people are like, what the fuck was all the training for? You could have done that with no training. But like, again, like Red Bull don't give a shit what fucking jump or dive we do. Like some lads might do a backflip off of it, but
Lad, okay,
I'm fucking-
you'll get up on that platform and it'll be like, it's my time to shine.
I could something could switch in my brain and go, I'd chance a front flip, but I couldn't do a backflip. But we'll see what happens.
If you're down in Ballycastle, go for a Morton's fish and chip.
Oh, yeah,
Unreal.
all right,
I get the fish, like
right.
they like fresh fish every day.
I said it'll be fucking rammed over the weekend.
Well, yeah, we went a couple of weeks ago, and
Morton's fish and chips.
Morton's fish and chip. You'll get down. It's like the road down to Rathlin Island.
Yeah,
As if you're about to head over to you get the ferry to Rathlin, but there's a wee fish and chip shop on the right hand side that you wouldn't honestly think it was. That you would probably blink and you'll miss it, but it's really, really famous for their fish and
definitely.
chip. It's unreal. Aaron's
nodding along.
Aaron's behind the scenes
Seal of
going,
approval.
Yes. Yeah. Are you visiting any pubs while you're here?
Here as in Belfast.
Yeah. Oh, well, just in.
I'll probably do something in Ballycastle. All right. I'm in Belfast tonight, and then going over in the morning because the jump is at like 11 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Well,
so I'll probably do
big night
something.
the night then.
Yeah, fucking no chance. Honestly, like trying to do it with any sort of hangout with the anxiety is just literally like crippling. Like after I did it, even last night, I was so bollocks after it. But no, I'll film something around kind of the whole weekend. Like I don't know, some sort of a vlog, a few pints, bit of diving, bit of this, bit of that. But people are always saying I have to come back to Belfast and do more pubs and stuff. But it's like I'm kind of like, once I do a city and I go wherever, it's kind of, it's ticked off the list. You know what I mean? Like
Where you're at in Ballycastle, you could definitely do that coastal route. Like if you just stick to this coast, you'll hit like you'll hit a bunch of places, but like Bushmills, like Ballantoy, Portrush and Port Stewart, you'll get pubs there.
Yeah, and people love like the scenic stuff as well. Like you throw the drone up and all that sort of shit. Like that's
you're in the right place. Like it's unreal.
Oh, because one of the lads who's doing it, do you know Marius Monaghan? He's like a real like, he's from Tyrone and he's a real like outdoorsy, makes really cool like well shot videos of kind of exploring mountains and shit. And like he was saying, that's probably his favourite part of the coastline, like the kind of whatever causeway, Ballycastle area. So should be pretty fucking good.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a good few pubs that you could visit, and it's quite touristy. Like that whole coastal route is quite touristy anyway. So especially now, people down with the caravans and
but it'll be interesting to see like with what the kind of turnout is, because I'd say it's impossible to know. Like I don't know how much they're pushing it or how little they are, but like,
well, I know Ballycastle's a smallish place, but like I know they're all buzzing for it.
Right.
And it's like I'd love. Is it? It's over the weekend, isn't it? That last till.
Yeah, it'll be Friday, and then like Friday, Saturday is the proper dives.
Yeah, I must look up where exactly it's at.
Yeah, I think it's on a couple of different locations, like a couple of different cliffs. But yeah, it seems like it's been going forever now, and fucking if I get it done. Even my mom was like, because I have like a kidney condition which gives me like high blood pressure, so she was like, I don't mind you doing it, whatever, but like I don't want to know the date you're doing it.
Yeah.
Just tell me after, because she thinks I'll have a fucking heart attack. So I think she thinks it's on the weekend, so I'll be able to ring her tomorrow and be like, it's done.
Send her a clip of one of the guys doing like the triple somersaults.
Yeah, it's like, I nailed it.
What do you think of jump? Like, nailed it. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Or I could tell her something went wrong, but she'd probably have a heart attack then. Would you do it? Would you jump off a 10 meter, like, or some lads are just naturally mad fuckers?
Yeah.
You would?
I wouldn't give it two thoughts, but the head first, no, not a chance.
No, head first you'd hurt yourself.
I can't even visualize 10 meters.
I used to
Not
do,
even, wouldn't even be 10 meters. Like, that's probably about 5 here.
I used to do a
Double
lot
up,
of it whenever I was younger.
I'll say.
Like, I was a proper water baby whenever I was younger, and would have like that stuff. Now I do get a little bit of like, oh, like I'm not sure if I'm fit for this now, because
that's just getting older.
I would be like you. Whenever I was younger, I was like a little bit smaller, but I was like 75 kilo maybe max.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like 100 kilo, and I'm like I could, you know. But like the last time I was down with like my wife's nieces and nephews and stuff, and we were at the top of this place in Portrush called like the Blue Pool. Right. And it's got like 3 levels, like sort of low, medium, and high. And like whenever I was younger, I was throwing myself off the top one, no problem at all. And it doesn't faze me, but like they were all like, "Oh yeah," I was like, "Oh, I used to do it," and they were like, "Bet you can't do it now," and I was like, "Bet flipping show you." Leashed myself off it, got the whole way down, and like just the way I hit the water was just so awkward, and I was like, "I'm not fit for this now."
Honest to God, some people are just naturally mental.
Not head first.
No.
Definitely
you'd want to be a proper professional, because like when we were doing the training in the aquatic center, like there's literally 7-8 year olds jumping off of like 7 meters, like doing a flip, going in head first. But like you'd need to be training from a young age to do that. It's, you do it wrong, you are literally fucked.
Yeah.
You'd break your neck, would you?
I don't know, to be honest.
You don't want to find out.
Well, it's even like you could overextend, and instead of hitting the water like that, you kind of go like that, and then your back and your legs would just absolutely fucking smash off the water.
Why are you doing it?
I remember there's a place in Kilray called the Lake. It's like one of them hydro park things.
What's that?
And it's like one of them things, like inflatable, like is it like an inflatable course on water? Right. So it's all like these inflatables and slides and stuff. And we did it for my last job. There was like a whole bunch of us, and they took me out for like my work stag. Yeah. And we went there for 2 hours. And there was lots of things you could jump off of. And then I think it was you, Aaron, did the slide. There was this like slides. It was like yellow, orange, and red. And fair play to him, Aaron went up the red one. And like you come down at speed, and then it just flicks you up. And they're like, you cross your legs and hands like this. So we were all like dead on. So I went down at first and legs crossed, and you just have to trust that when you go up through the lip, your feet first are going to come down. Yeah. But like there was a few people sort of didn't follow instructions and landed on their back. The next minute Aaron comes bailing down. Like, now bearing in mind the instructions were legs crossed, arms like this. All we heard was Aaron going, ah! Exited the lip of the slide, legs absolutely wide as nothing normal, and arms flapping about, and you hit the water. Aaron hit the water, legs spread, and I have never heard a man so much pain in my life.
Oh my God.
But like,
how high in the air would you have gone?
I would say it was probably a good 15 odd feet.
It's
like
the biggest water slide now. Tallest.
Where is it?
It's in Kilray. So it's probably like
he's like, these are full of shit.
Yeah, it's
where's Kilray?
Kilray is between Kilray and Ballymena. So
go there after.
Yeah, you.
You're fucking right.
But like, I'll show you a video after this. And like, it doesn't actually seem that daunting because it's just a big inflate. But see, once you're on it and you go down off the lip of that, especially when you're like,
totally out of control as well.
Especially when you're
going
on,
back, like.
Especially when you're on the heavier side as well.
Yeah.
Like you just
can relate to that.
momentum just
What do you mean?
It's like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
But like, but you just go off the side of it, and like, but water is so.
But that's like a rite of passage. Like when we're doing the training, like everybody at one stage either landed straight on their stomach or on their back, and the trainers are just like, right, you've gotten that done now, so you can
stingy like.
It's like you're diving virginity. You have to
literally, if you get through it without smacking yourself, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, but it's such a good opportunity, such a cool opportunity. Like, when are you ever going? Like, you'll look back later in life and be like, literally did a cliff dive with Red Bull.
Yeah,
went golfing with Sky. Like, and I suppose like when you're looking at stuff like that, it's taking them opportunities and running with them. Like,
came on the Here's Your Crack podcast.
Exactly.
Fucking right. It's been a really good kind of 3 months, topped off by this, and the cliff dive will just be a little bonus, you know.
So have you anything like you're excited for coming up now in the next couple of months, or what can sort of people expect from your content and stuff moving forward?
Yeah, so much has kind of changed, and like literally in the last kind of 2-3 months with doing all these kind of, lucky enough to be doing these kind of cool things that I couldn't fucking tell you, to be honest. I know it's like trying to tell people what to expect. Definitely the foundations for the next foreseeable future will be going to pub with a guest, pulling a pint, having a chat. That's kind of like my bread and butter. That's like, say, 2 or 3 times a month. I'd love to, like I said earlier, try to get myself into the, you know, someone's coming to Ireland and they're going on the Two Johnnies podcast, I don't know, Darragh and Daragh, here's the crack. And to just be in that where they're doing a press day and you get them in for 20 minutes. Now, don't get me wrong, you're going to get people who couldn't be arsed, but like, I think that's the only way of getting the big names, and I would like to, I think it's such a good niche interview press kind of thing that if you did it correctly, you should be able to get massive names, and then that's what's gonna bring in eyes, you know what I mean? And then I'm really enjoying like the sporting side of things, like going to, whether it's with Off the Ball or doing stuff with like William Hill, going to matches, chatting to people outside of stadiums, like, and that's really good. I still think I've like so much to learn on that side of things. Like I think I'm all right at it. I have like a bit of crack, but I thought a few months ago that I wanted to get into, like, you know, I'm here at and it's Ireland 24. Like I'm not really interested in the serious side of it. I think there is room for just literally having the crack with the sporting side of thing. So definitely the biggest thing I would say would be just general kind of sticking to the pub stuff, keep on exploring this beautiful country, exploring the sporting side of things, and whatever sort of presenter kind of stuff comes out of that, that's general. And then like down the line, I'd love the kind of just the creative side of making videos, and I don't know, even like one side of me feels like eventually I'll end up like maybe directing stuff, because I love all that writing and directing, all that sort of process. But then I've no idea, like, so, but I've always enjoyed not, like, I used to scare the shit out of my missus, because like I'd be like, I really enjoy, she naturally likes the idea of security, and I was like, I love the idea of not knowing what the fuck I'm going to be doing in 3 months, because it's just because I've had so many jobs over the years, like, and it's just, you know exactly what you're doing for the next whenever, and like I just love the excitement of, because it means obviously it means you could be living in a fucking dumpster in 3 months, but it also means you could be on top of the world in 3 months. So it's
you never know.
the kind of, the sky's the limit, but also you could go to fucking shite as well. So but I like the idea of not really knowing.
I think that's a good place to wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for coming on, and hopefully in 2 years' time you'll remember us and you can come back on again.
Yeah, geez, well, another 2.5 years, then it'll be 5 years from the first, so it'll be 2020, November 2026.
Oh my god.
We'll lock that in.
Well,
put that in the diary.
If we're still here, fuck me.
That'll really help, actually. You'll be our next guest. Aaron's laughing because he knows it's true.
No, I really appreciate it, lads. And like, best of luck to you lads, and you are just fucking keep plugging away, and you don't know where the fuck it'll all go, you know. And I think it's like doing something like this for as long as you're doing, I genuinely think will have benefits in the future that you don't even realize at the moment, regardless of what way you even think it's going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's cool. Well, we're still here. The reason why we're still here.
The lights are still
with
on.
each other. Yeah. Lights are
Exactly,
still on, and we're still breathing. So there's a lot to be thankful for.
Exactly.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, lads.